A cloud of witnesses ventured in faith to create student Christian movements in the United States and around the world. Luther Wishart, Robert Wilder, John R. Mott, Juliet Derricott, Max Jurgen, Sherwood Eddy. Behind these names, which are now recognized as pioneers, lay the energy and commitment of many generations of students. The student Christian movements they pioneered have gone by several names. The energy and commitment of students in these movements have changed the lives of individuals, have influenced campus life, have affected society at large, and helped the churches discover their unity in Christ. The first student YMCAs were formed at the universities of Virginia in 1858 and Michigan in 1859. The first black YMCA was started at Howard University in 1869. The first student YWCA was established by 5 students at Normal College, Normal, Illinois in 1873. Other campuses soon followed suit. Luther Wishart, a Princeton student, brought together 25 students from 21 student YMCAs, 3 of them black, in this Louisville, Kentucky church in 1877 to form the intercollegiate movement of the YMCA, the first nationwide student Christian movement. Wishart, supported by other YMCA staff members, became its traveling secretary and helped organize a conference at Mount Hermon School, Northfield, Massachusetts in 1886, which influenced student Christian movements for generations. Robert Wilder, a Princeton student, came to hear the great evangelist Dwight L. Moody. He also recruited 100 other students to go to foreign mission fields. John R. Mott attended. Then a student active in the Cornell University YMCA, he was among the 100 volunteers. Volunteers traveled from campus to campus, recruiting other students. Pitkin later went to China, where he died within a year. Sherwood Eddy was later a prominent pacifist and worker for world peace. Henry Luce founded Time Life, Inc. In 1888, Robert Wilder helped organize the student volunteer movement under the auspices of the Intercollegiate YMCA. The first of 19 student volunteer movement quadrennial conferences was held in 1892 in Cleveland, Ohio. The watchword of the conference became the evangelization of the world in this generation, which remained the slogan of the student volunteer movement for many years. The student volunteer movement both shaped the missionary activities of the churches and brought overseas students into the life of the student Christian movements in the United States. If the student Christian movement has a patron saint, it is John R. Mott, who influenced student leaders until his death in 1954. Travels throughout the world on behalf of student movements and the ecumenical church earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1945. When he graduated from Cornell, he didn't go overseas as a missionary, but instead became Secretary of Student Work for the YMCA. In 1895, he was one of the founders of the World Student Christian Federation, which continues to play a potent role in the ecumenical church. The World Student Christian Federation soon expanded from its European and North American origins to include membership from Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Forming the World Council of Churches in 1948 was possible because of the long history of student interaction in the World Student Christian Federation. As the number of local YM and YW associations grew, regional and national conferences attracted more and more students. College banners were prominently displayed and competition among the colleges was keen. The program concentrated on Bible study, missions, and evangelism. Overseas students studying in this country attended the conferences. Latin American students were well represented at the Northfield Conference in 1919. Chinese students came to Williams Bay, Wisconsin in 1921. Christian associations were formed on Indian college campuses. And the first regional conference for American Indian students was held in Estes Park, Colorado in 1913. A large delegation of Indian students attended the National YMCA Conference in Hollister, Missouri in 1917. Regional and national meetings inspired hundreds of students to become missionaries. Others became ministers, evangelists, and Christian educators. Most students, though, remained laypersons, committed to the Christian life in their chosen field. A cartoon illustrated major themes in the 1920 Student Volunteer Movement Quadrennial Conference. Many delegates criticized the conference for ignoring social issues. Sherwood Eddy and others challenged students to explore the implications of the gospel for society. A cartoon reprinted in the YMCA magazine, Intercollegian, illustrates the conflict generated by the theological debates between the fundamentalists and the modernists. Students were challenged to become involved in the needs of people in large industrialized cities. Students from all over the country responded to the challenge to spend summers serving the poor, the hungry, and the homeless. Students from as far away as Ohio, Oklahoma, and Washington State spent their summers living in cities like New York. They served human needs where they found them. This project continued for many years as a combined service and learning experience. Student conferences continued to hold Bible study and theological discussions, but action to solve social, political, and economic evils became urgent topics both of discussion and action. Luther Tucker, a student YMCA leader, helped organize a major anti-war rally at Bucknell University during a meeting of the National Board of the YMCA in 1931. Other students held a mass demonstration against war and poverty on the Columbia University campus in the early 30s. Similar activities occurred elsewhere. A program for students to work in blue-collar jobs over summer vacations was initiated in the 30s. Through these jobs, students could understand why workers formed unions to demand better wages and working conditions. Segregation was a fact of life for student Christian movements from the beginning. Campus associations were segregated, whether by law, enrollment, economics, or custom. Most black students attended the historic black colleges. The YM and YWCAs each had secretaries for colored work, who worked primarily on Negro college campuses. One secretary was Channing Tobias, later a key figure in movements for racial justice. Another was Dr. Benjamin Mays, later president of Morehouse College, who inspired many generations of students, both black and white, to work for integration. Juliette Derricott was an early YWCA student secretary. She died from injuries suffered in an automobile accident when she was refused admittance to a white hospital. Their work centered in segregated community YM and YWCA buildings. Few campus facilities were available. Regional meetings in the South were segregated until 1915, when the YWCA held the first integrated meeting. YMCA meetings were integrated in 1928. Meetings were interracial even in states where it was against the law. Many white students wouldn't tell their parents or college authorities that conferences were integrated. Otherwise, they would be denied permission to attend.